Welcome to our Immigration Briefing show, where we dive into the latest movements and shakes in the world of migration, borders, and the cultural shifts that come with it. First off, we're looking at Ireland's Prime Minister, Simon Harris, throwing down the gauntlet with a warning that Dublin is ready to push back asylum seekers to the UK. This bold move is meant to close what Harris describes as a loophole in their immigration policy. But, as the plot thickens, the UK isn't having any of it, standing firm on its ground by rejecting Ireland's bid to return migrants. It's a classic tale of diplomatic tug-of-war, folks. Meanwhile, across the pond, Quebec is rolling out the red carpet for the French language, unveiling a whopping $603 million plan to ensure French doesn't just survive but thrives in the province. This initiative is a mix of culture, education, and a bit of immigration policy tweaking. So, grab your popcorn, or perhaps, a croissant to stay on theme, as we unpack these stories. Please stay tuned for the detailed coverage. In a recent development that has sparked considerable tension between the United Kingdom and Ireland, Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris has emphatically stated that Dublin is poised to take decisive actions to curb the influx of asylum seekers from Northern Ireland. According to a report by the South China Morning Post, Harris's firm stance is rooted in the belief that Ireland must not be exploited as a loophole by other nations to sidestep their immigration challenges. The crux of the matter lies in the staggering statistic that 80% of asylum applications in Ireland originate from individuals crossing over from Northern Ireland. This scenario has prompted discussions about amending Irish law to facilitate the return of these asylum seekers to the UK, a move that UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak interprets as a testament to the efficacy of London's controversial plan to deter asylum seekers by proposing their relocation to Rwanda. However, the plot thickens as The Independent reports a burgeoning row between the two nations, following Britain's outright rejection of Ireland's bid to send back migrants. The UK government has accused Ireland of attempting to impose a double standard, particularly highlighting the UK's inability to return migrants crossing the English Channel back to France. This diplomatic spat unfolds against the backdrop of the UK's recent legislative move, the Safety of Rwanda, Asylum and Immigration Act, which lays the groundwork for the deportation of asylum seekers to Rwanda, a policy that has itself been mired in controversy and criticism. Amidst these international tensions and domestic debates on immigration policy, The Telegraph introduces a seemingly tangential yet deeply interconnected issue, the urgent call for the reindustrialisation of the UK's economy. A report by the think tank Onward, backed by senior Conservative Party figures, paints a vivid picture of an economy teetering on the brink, overly dependent on consumption and imports, and in dire need of revitalising its production and export sectors. The report proposes a suite of measures aimed at reinvigorating the UK's industrial base, including ensuring competitive energy costs, overhauling planning laws, ramping up investment, and enacting tax and regulatory reforms. A notable aspect of this economic manifesto is its call for a reduction in low-skilled immigration, a point that resonates with the broader discussions on immigration policy and its implications for the nation's social and economic fabric. These developments, taken together, sketch a complex tableau of national and international challenges facing the UK and Ireland. On one hand, there is a pressing need to address the immediate concerns posed by the movement of asylum seekers and the diplomatic tensions it has engendered. On the other, there is a broader, more profound conversation about the future direction of the UK's economy, its industrial capabilities, and its stance on immigration. The intertwined nature of these issues underscores the multifaceted challenges that lie ahead, requiring a delicate balance of diplomacy, economic strategy, and social policy to navigate the turbulent waters of contemporary geopolitics and economic restructuring. In the picturesque province of Quebec, Canada, the government has unveiled a robust plan to safeguard the essence of its French heritage with a staggering $603 million investment over the next 5 years. This initiative, as reported by the Globe and Mail, is a testament to the province's commitment to reversing the decline of the French language, a trend that has raised concerns among locals and policymakers alike. The comprehensive strategy aims to monitor language trends closely, bolster French culture, and significantly enhance French language proficiency among students. A notable aspect of this plan involves a series of measures targeting immigration, which includes increasing the percentage of economic immigrants proficient in French and offering a fast track to permanent residency for international students graduating from French language programs. Furthermore, the government intends to adjust tuition fees for out-of-province university students and enforce stricter French language requirements for temporary workers and permanent immigrants. The decline of the French language in Quebec has been attributed to a variety of factors, including the influx of non-French-speaking immigrants and the pervasive dominance of English on digital platforms. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the UK Home Office has announced its intentions to commence the detention of asylum seekers for the first flights to Rwanda within weeks, as covered by The Independent. This move comes amid reports of an impending crackdown on deportation, sparking a wave of criticism from human rights groups. These groups argue that detaining refugees, who are fleeing torture and persecution, would only exacerbate their trauma. The UK government, however, has stated that it is entering the final phase of operationalizing its policy of processing asylum applications in Rwanda, a strategy that has been met with both anticipation and apprehension. So far this year, more than 7,000 individuals have made the perilous journey across the Channel to the UK in small boats, highlighting the ongoing challenges faced by the country in managing its immigration and asylum-seeking processes. In a related development, The Independent reports that pressure is building on UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson to announce a significant overhaul of the country's immigration laws ahead of the upcoming general election. The call for change is led by former Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick, who has proposed capping net migration at less than 100,000 per year. Jenrick's proposition aims to restrict the figure to the tens of thousands, a move prompted by official figures that recorded a record 745,000 net migration in 2022. This suggestion has sparked a heated debate on the future of immigration in the UK, with many awaiting the government's response to this growing pressure. These stories, from Quebec's ambitious plan to preserve its French language to the UK's controversial immigration policies, reflect the complex and often contentious nature of cultural preservation and immigration in today's global landscape. Whether it's the efforts to protect a cherished language or the challenges of managing migration flows, these developments underscore the ongoing debates and decisions that shape our societies and the way we navigate the intricacies of identity, heritage, and belonging in an increasingly interconnected world. In a bold move to safeguard the essence of its cultural and linguistic heritage, Quebec has unveiled a staggering $603 million plan spread over 5 years, aimed squarely at reversing the decline of the French language within its borders. As reported by the Toronto Star, this comprehensive strategy is not merely a financial commitment but a declaration of the province's dedication to its linguistic identity. The plan encompasses a variety of measures, including enhanced monitoring of language trends, a significant boost to the French cultural offering, and targeted efforts to improve students' mastery of French. A notable aspect of this initiative involves the realm of immigration, with the government seeking to increase the percentage of economic immigrants proficient in French, alongside expediting the process of attaining permanent residency for international students graduating from francophone programs. Among the 21 measures outlined, some are already in motion, such as the increase in tuition fees for out-of-province university students and the imposition of stringent French language requirements for both temporary workers and permanent immigrants from the economic stream. The decline of French in Quebec is attributed to a complex mix of factors, including the influx of non-French-speaking immigrants, the dominance of English-centric digital platforms, and the popularity of English universities among students. Meanwhile, in the European political arena, the European People's Party (EPP), as detailed by Telegraph, has thrown its weight behind the concept of safe third countries, echoing the controversial UK-Rwanda asylum deportation deal. The EPP, which holds the distinction of being the largest party in the European Parliament, has included this stance as part of its manifesto for the upcoming European elections in June. This policy suggests that asylum seekers could be transferred to a safe third country to undergo the asylum process there, a move that has garnered attention in the wake of the UK's passage of the Rwanda Bill. This legislation allows for the deportation of illegal migrants to Rwanda, a policy that UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak claims is now inspiring similar discussions and plans within the EU. Across the Irish Sea, Ireland is grappling with its own migration challenges, spurred by the ripple effects of the UK's Rwanda plan. As reported by Telegraph, the Irish government, under the leadership of Taoiseach Simon Harris, is contemplating the enactment of new emergency laws that would enable the return of asylum seekers to the UK. This development comes amid concerns that the UK's deportation strategy has led to a surge in asylum seekers arriving in Ireland. The proposed legal framework seeks to counteract a recent ruling by the Irish High Court, which deemed the government's declaration of the UK as a safe third country for returning asylum seekers unlawful. This ruling was a victory for 2 asylum seekers who argued that being sent back to the UK would put them at risk of onward removal to Rwanda. The Irish government's move to potentially overturn this judgment underscores the complex and often contentious nature of international asylum and migration policies. These narratives from Quebec, the European Union, and Ireland paint a vivid picture of the diverse challenges and strategies nations and regions are employing to navigate the intricate dynamics of language preservation, migration, and asylum. From Quebec's financial investment to protect its French language, the EPP's controversial asylum proposal, to Ireland's legal maneuvering in response to the UK's migration policies, each story reflects a broader global conversation about identity, sovereignty, and human rights. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world of work has undergone a seismic shift, with profound implications for employers, employees, and the broader economic landscape. According to a report by Memorial University economist Tony Fong, featured in CBC, the pandemic has accelerated the adoption of remote work, intensified labor shortages, and heightened the quest for a better work-life balance. Employers, grappling with these challenges, have turned to artificial intelligence and automation as strategic solutions to streamline operations and mitigate costs. However, Fong's findings highlight a particularly acute shortage in skilled and general trade positions, propelling employers to increase wages, adjust hours and scheduling, and, in some instances, hire underqualified individuals. This situation underscores the necessity for government intervention to devise policies that can support businesses in navigating the post-pandemic world. Simultaneously, in a bid to rejuvenate the business environment of the Greater Bay Area, the National Immigration Administration of China has announced a significant policy adjustment aimed at mainland Chinese business visa holders for Hong Kong and Macau. As reported by the South China Morning Post, starting next month, the duration of stay for these visa holders will be extended from the current maximum of 7 days per trip to 14 days. This policy shift is poised to benefit an estimated 100 million individually owned firms and employees from 30,000 companies who are registered for multiple business visas. This move is a strategic effort to enhance the business landscape and foster greater economic integration within the Greater Bay Area, signaling a positive outlook for cross-border commerce and collaboration. Meanwhile, another narrative unfolds in Hong Kong, challenging the prevailing discourse of a mass exodus and the city's purported decline. The South China Morning Post highlights that the number of Americans living in Hong Kong has surged to 84,000, marking the highest figure since the pandemic began and representing a 30% increase from 2014. This data, derived from the U.S. State Department's 2024 Hong Kong Policy Act report, contradicts the notion that Hong Kong is losing its appeal. In fact, immigration statistics have recorded a net inflow in 2022 and 2023, suggesting a robust interest in residing in the city. Hong Kong continues to attract individuals with its free and open society, the world's freest capitalist system, low tax rates, safe streets, and the free flow of information and capital. This trend serves as a potent reminder not to discount the millions who have voted with their feet by choosing to stay, reaffirming Hong Kong's enduring allure and resilience as a global city. These developments across different geographies underscore the complex and evolving landscape of the post-pandemic world. From the challenges of filling positions and adapting to new work paradigms in Canada, to policy innovations aimed at fostering business mobility between mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau, and the enduring appeal of Hong Kong as a place to live and work, it is clear that the pandemic has been a catalyst for significant change. As governments, businesses, and individuals navigate these changes, the need for adaptable, forward-thinking policies and practices has never been more critical. The stories of adaptation, resilience, and innovation emerging from these contexts offer valuable insights into the future of work, mobility, and urban living in the post-pandemic era. In the realm of international politics and economic strategies, the discourse on migration and global power's ambitions has sparked intense debate among experts and policymakers. The Telegraph and Foreign Policy have recently shed light on these contentious issues, offering insights that challenge prevailing narratives and call for a nuanced understanding of migration's impact on economies and the historical roots of China's ambitions. Starting with the UK's immigration policy, the Telegraph's coverage includes opinions from former immigration ministers Chris Philip and Robert Jenrick, who advocate for a more restrictive approach to immigration. Chris Philip emphasizes the necessity of focusing on high-skill, high-wage migrants to benefit the economy, arguing against the myth that mass migration is inherently good for economic growth. He points out that legal migration, due to its volume, poses a more significant challenge than illegal migration, criticizing the government's failure to effectively manage the situation. Philip's call for a cap on net migration, subject to parliamentary vote, underscores his belief in the need for a controlled and strategic migration policy. Echoing Philip's concerns, Robert Jenrick proposes an annual net migration cap of less than 100,000 to restore public trust. Jenrick challenges the notion that immigration is an unqualified economic boon and essential for public services, suggesting instead that the UK should prioritize high-skilled migrants who are net contributors to the economy. His resignation from the immigration minister post, following disagreements over handling illegal migration, signals the complexity and divisiveness of this issue within the government. Shifting focus to global geopolitical dynamics, foreign policy delves into China's historical ambitions and strategic culture. The article argues that a comprehensive understanding of China's millennia-long history is crucial to comprehending its current behavior and objectives on the world stage. It critiques the common oversight of policymakers who view China merely as the other or through the lens of recent history, such as the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949 or the Century of Humiliation. This narrow perspective, the article contends, fails to grasp the depth of China's civilizational identity and its long-standing quest for political hegemony. China's imperial ambitions, as described in the article, are not a recent development but are deeply rooted in its history. Despite its conciliatory diplomatic facade, China's aggressive posture towards neighboring countries and territorial claims reveal its desire for dominance. The article challenges the notion that transforming China into a democracy would mitigate its imperialistic tendencies, arguing that such a change might not alter its strategic culture or ambitions. In essence, both the Telegraph's discussion on the UK's immigration policy and Foreign Policy's analysis of China's historical ambitions highlight the importance of critically examining widely held beliefs and simplistic narratives. Whether addressing the economic implications of migration or the geopolitical ambitions of a global power like China, these articles underscore the need for informed, nuanced perspectives that consider historical contexts, strategic cultures, and the complex interplay of domestic and international factors. As the global community grapples with these pressing issues, the insights from these discussions offer valuable guidance for policymakers and the public alike, advocating for policies that are both pragmatic and reflective of the deeper currents shaping our world. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.